Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Hi there, and a warm welcome to our Highlights edition, which this time around happens to include the following stories. Eye in the sky. 2 Berlin cameramen use drones for those hard-to-reach shots. Bright lights, big city. Lighting designer Philipp Geist illuminates Berlin's famous landmarks. And watchmen meet the Tower of London's first female Beefeater. Well, we start off up in the air, and there are many ways to capture a bird's eye view of objects on the ground below, most typically, of course, from a plane or a helicopter. But there are also many places those cameramen cannot get to, which is why flying drone cameras are being used more and more to get some of the more innovative action shots. And 2 cameramen from Berlin showed us how these little beasts are working for them.
Shots like this are typically done with computer animation, but these images were taken from a drone. The Eye in the Sky was developed by Berlin production company Ohm Studios. With it, Stefan Müller can take pictures that were once out of reach.
We're just not used to seeing a camera glide over a street, then follow a car, and then fly on over a house. Of course, you can overdo it, but you can also use this technology in exciting ways. And I think that's why so many people are so fascinated by it right now, and why it's being used so often in feature films.
Today, the camera will be flying over the BMX track in Berlin's Melo Park. The drone is an octocopter. Unlike a normal helicopter, it has 8 rotors, so it can handle the weight of a digital video camera. Innovations like this make it possible to take such unique shots.
One reason this technology is so new is that the motors and high-performance batteries you need to build drones like these have only been available for a couple of years now.
Just before he launches the drone, Stefan Müller gives final instructions to the riders. On the set, he works with a partner. Christoph Dundas controls the drone. It has a range of 300 meters. Müller works the camera himself. He receives the video images live over a small antenna. Concentration is imperative. A crash could be dangerous and expensive. The drone and camera cost a good 100,000 euros, and the rotors are razor sharp.
You can't think about that when you're shooting. You have to concentrate on the images. We constructed the drone and know that it works. That's why we use it.
The batteries have a duration of 6 minutes, so they have to be changed often. But for safety's sake, the drone only spends 3 minutes in the air. Stefan and Christoph have to plan their shoots well to get lots of new perspectives and angles.
Pass selber, ne? Jetzt, jo. Wow, geil.
With a real helicopter, you probably wouldn't be able to fly this low. And if you did, you'd stir up lots of sand. To fly a helicopter a meter off the ground wouldn't make much sense.
This parking garage would also be a no-go area for a helicopter. Plus, at 4,000 euros an hour, a helicopter can be prohibitively expensive. For the same money, you can hire a camera drone for a day. And the octocopter is regularly booked out. The Berlin company's customers include some major Hollywood studios.
Man wird bestimmt nie ein...
You'll never be able to shoot a movie only with octocopters, apart from maybe a BMX film. It's much more of a tool that offers lots of opportunities. You have to look at where you can use it and how.
For the dirt bikers, the drone was certainly worth it. Without it, the filmmakers wouldn't have put together shots like these in practically no time at all.
All right, in the middle of autumn is a perfect time to visit the Italian city of Venice, the city on the lagoon that you can only navigate through a labyrinth of scenic canals. Well, a popular mode of transport there for tourists is certainly a gondola, and from these man-powered boats you can soak up the historic charm that Venice exudes at just about every corner. It's also a dream for architecture fans, so we met up with one expert who showed us around.
Napoleon once referred to St. Mark's Square as the drawing room of Europe. Only about 60,000 people live in Venice's city centre, but it draws in around 20 million tourists from around the world every year. Venice is constantly in danger of sinking, but that hasn't stopped architect Silvia Raffaello from living here. The Academy Bridge is a favourite spot of hers.
Look at this, it's wonderful. From aesthetical point of view, of course, we live inside the beauty, the history. So architecture in Venice has a different meaning from the rest of the world. Because, of course, mainly we have to preserve, we have to transform.
Raffaello's job is to ensure the city's historic buildings are maintained and keep up with the times.
I really like Palazzo Franchetti. It's my favorite building along the Grand Canal. I would like to maintain those buildings and to do something inside.
Palazzo Franchetti is a palace that was built in the 16th century. Since 2009, it has housed a museum that honours the Venetian art of glassmaking. Contemporary works stand beneath a 100-year-old chandelier. Venice's water bus, the Vaporetto, takes its passengers on a journey through time. Many of these houses were built in the 12th century. Once upon a time, historical figures like Italian poet Dante or German writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe would stroll along the Rialto Bridge. Venice has always been a magnet for artists.
And this is Palazzo Grassi. I think they have done a really good job because they made a huge renovation inside.
French billionaire and art collector Francois Pinault bought the palace as a place to exhibit his art treasures. One of the biggest contemporary art collections in the world, the works have been on exhibit since 2006.
In the 16th century, in the 17th century, 18th century, all the artists of their time were productive, were acting in Venice. And why this should stop? No, Venice is still a living city.
The Lido is where stars have been meeting for 80 years to attend film festivals. Venice is built on more than 100 islands that are connected by over 400 bridges. Around 150 canals serve as the city's primary transport routes. The best way to get around is by gondola, the traditional Venetian boat that can help you uncover the hidden corners of the city. The people who live in Venice have developed a unique way of living, thanks to the city's unusual geography.
It is a special city, and that's why it's slow. So you have to run and jump over the bridges and run in every day. But it's nice, the human dimension. because it's all the time. I used to say hello to everybody because I used to meet people. As you don't have cars, you have to meet people walking through the calles.
In the evenings, the people of Venice gather together in places like Campo Santa Margherita or the Strada Nova, where there's plenty of room to relax. A glass of Prosecco and antipasti. The perfect way to end an evening in this magical city on the water.
Indeed. Well, back to our good old German capital now, which is exuding a magic all its own with the annual Festival of Lights. Until October the 21st, this free public event puts Berlin's many landmarks and buildings quite literally into the spotlight. But it is an artful one that, in the words of organizer Birgit Zander, is able to speak all languages of the world. Here's more.
Three-dimensional images dance on the Brandenburg Gate. While the Berlin Cathedral tells winter tales. Berlin is showcasing more than 70 light installations over the next week and a half. At Potsdamer Platz, the facades of the Kohlhof Tower and Renzo Piano building serve as a canvas for drifting words. German light designer Philipp Geist from Berlin designed the project.
For me, this is a visual opportunity to give this place dialogue with my language of images. It's a chance for me to redefine the place. It's an opportunity to create a new way of perceiving it.
It's the first time Geist is presenting his own work at the Berlin Festival of Lights. Big screen projectors, usually reserved for theaters, cast the words onto the building. When assembled, the large format slides look like a giant roll of film. Geist made his name with similar installations around the world. The images, originally analog, were scanned into a computer.
The slides, the films were all exposed as analog, but then digitized. And this process for me represents the theme of time. It provides a great opportunity to link this past analog medium with the digital medium.
Geist is just one of many artists at this year's Festival of Lights. Their works are diverse. Also on show are glowing sculptures at Potsdamer Platz. And images on the facade of the Hotel de Rome. The festival has become somewhat of an institution for many artists.
The Festival of
Lights in Berlin is definitely one of the most attractive platforms for showing off things like this. Tons of visitors, a beautiful city, lovely facades on a great square. It's a great location for us.
1.5 million visitors came to see the spectacle last year alone. The organizing team spent 12 months working, collecting sponsor money, and arranging many new events.
The greatest feeling is when you look into the people's eyes and you see exactly what we wanted to achieve. People stand in front of the buildings and smile and see the buildings and squares in a completely new light.
Oh, it's just the entire city is like, lighted up. It's really nice, beautiful, yeah.
I like it. It's a great atmosphere.
I think it's varied. It's more fun now to go for a walk when it gets dark so early.
Back to Potsdamer Platz and Philipp Geist. His light installations offer a fascinating interactive element. Viewers can send the artist words, which Geist then incorporates into the installation. And so it becomes a rich carpet of language that tells its own story. Geist has more projects on the horizon.
Berlin is full of exciting places and possibilities. I'm interested in its secret corners, not just the landmarks.
The Festival of Lights will be glittering in Berlin until October 21st, celebrating the city's shining moments.
Well, over to Britain now, and until the year 2007, the crown jewels in the Tower of London were guarded only by men, dressed in the traditional clothing that we know as the Beefeater uniform. But 5 years ago, Moira Cameron applied for the position, and she made history by becoming the very first woman to take on the job. Well, amazingly, this snub of tradition caused quite a lot of controversy at the time, but with admirable chutzpah, Cameron has stuck it out, and she's now not only a trailblazer, but also one of the boys on the Beefeater team.
Each button has a story to tell, each trimming a tradition. Beefeater Moira Cameron is getting ready to take visitors on a tour of the Tower of London.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London.
The Tower of London is almost 1,000 years old. Its traditional guards, known as Beefeaters or Yeoman Warder, are all former soldiers. But there'd never been a female soldier among them until Moira Cameron came along.
Even now, people 5 years on, people still say, oh my goodness, a woman. I go, yes. How nice of you to notice.
Cameron was in the British Army for 22 years, reaching the rank of Sergeant Major. Her duties at the Tower include giving directions, telling stories, and being a role model for others.
It is a very privileged position to be in. I didn't realise how privileged until I met up with an American couple. They were on their first holiday without their children, and the chap had said to me that his daughter had seen my picture in the paper, and she said, "Do you know what this means, Dad?" And I went, "What?" And she went, "It means I can do anything I want to do. Anything I want to do." And that made me realise what an important position that I hold.
Others are thrilled with Moira Cameron too.
I think it's absolutely fabulous that finally there's a woman. I think it's great.
This nation has had several outstanding queens, so women should be able to handle being a beefeater.
I'm a great believer in equality for men and for women, so I think it's important for there to be equality in those sorts of things. So it's great.
The Tower of London dates back to the times of William the Conqueror. It's functioned as an armory, a treasury, a jail, and even a zoo. The tower is home to the crown jewels. Cameron's predecessors guarded kings and queens, royal treasures, and prisoners, and occasionally acted as tour guides. But it was a strictly male-only profession until September 3rd, 2007, when Moira Cameron began serving as a yeoman warder in full uniform. She beat 5 male applicants for the job. Her appointment made the headlines. Some people objected to a woman occupying this traditional post. Cameron was mobbed, which led to one Beefeater's dismissal. But Alan Kingshott, the Tower's chief yeoman warder, supported Moira Cameron from the start.
The situation happened. It was an unsavourable sort of situation to be in. I didn't like it, and the majority of the yeoman warders didn't like it. As a result of which, one was actually suspended and sacked as a result of that. But you know, it's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned.
Moira Cameron takes a tea break between tours. Like her male colleagues, she also lives in the historic tower, which she found a bit unnerving at first, as quite a few people lost their heads here. One was Lady Jane Grey, nominal Queen of England for just 9 days. Her ghost is said to haunt the tower.
One of the questions I was actually asked in an interview was that the place was meant to be haunted, and coming here as a single girl, no husband, they said, are you going to be okay with that? And my answer to that was, it's never the dead you have to be worried about, it's always the living.
5 years after the appointment of the first female Beefeater, people here are looking to the future. Cameron loves her work.
It's a wonderful job, especially in days like this. But you get a real feel-good factor, I say again, because it's when I'm at the front gate and we're saying, you know, cheerio to people and saying, hope you had a good time, it's when they turn around and say to you that it was fantastic, it was fabulous. That's when you know you've done a good job.
Soon there could be more girl power at the tower, as 2 other women have also applied to become beefeaters.
I'll certainly be hearing about that sometime soon. Well, don't you sometimes wonder how we ever got along without the internet? It's such a part of the furniture now, and people use it to do everything from booking their holidays to buying their groceries to even arranging their Friday night date. Yes, in fact, about 7 million Germans are currently registered on one of many online dating sites in the hope of finding a soulmate. But there are a number of pitfalls to watch out for. So we checked out the pros and the cons of internet dating from someone who's really been around the virtual block.
Many people dream of true love that lasts a lifetime. But where can it be found? Single Europeans are looking for it on more than 2,000 internet forums dedicated to helping people find the right partner. Milos Matušek signed up for a dating site a year and a half ago. He's a lawyer and also looking for that partner for life.
I made a Please Love Me profile, and that didn't work at all. And then I thought of making a second profile that was macho, but at the same time clearly an exaggeration, and making fun of having to sell yourself on the internet.
His alter ego, Hansi Hirsch, got 2,000 responses when he listed his most important character trait as having large biceps.
The moment I stopped trying or caring, I was so normal that women thought, he's different or interesting. I want to meet him.
This is the E-Darling matchmaking agency in Berlin, where more than 300 staff help singles to find the partner of their dreams. The choice of prospective partners is narrowed down electronically using a process called matching.
We match using scientific research, indicating that successful relationships involve partners with lots in common, rather than opposites attract.
Matušek's alias, Hansi Hirsch, received letters from professors, single mothers, and students.
I was spoiled for choice, and it inhibited me. Sometimes I was writing 4 or 5 parallel messages and got them mixed up because I thought I had to respond to everyone and couldn't miss anything.
Experts know that being swamped with messages isn't the only disadvantage of getting to know someone virtually.
You can add a lot of imagination and style yourself idealistically, creating a made-up image. It's quite common that meeting in person often leads to disappointment.
Matušek also came face-to-face with reality after about 100 dates.
You sweat, you swallow, and you hope it isn't a complete failure. Usually you can find her because she's nervously stirring her coffee. And then you sit down and look at each other and think, now we have to talk. At some point, I lost my faith in my own charm. I thought, I'm only attractive because I portrayed myself that way. I'm not exactly Hansi Hirsch.
He even held an internet competition to help him find a date. The person who left the best comment could win a trip to the opera with him.
I got a lot of messages, but didn't meet anyone. Because the one with the best comment wasn't in Berlin. And the second best comment didn't have any time. So I went to the opera alone. It was frustrating not to get a date after 3 weeks, but I met a single girl at the box office.
Milos Matušek has said goodbye to online dating and recorded his experiences in a book. But he still went on to find great love at a salsa class.
That's all for our highlights edition for this time. So until next time, from all of us here in Berlin, take very good care and thanks for watching. Tschüss and auf Wiedersehen.